Good morning, Wellspring. My name is Judy Bethman, and I'm part of your Sunday service team for June 2nd, 2024. Okay, early birds meet Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email and on the website, and they have started a new book. The book is by Samuel Levine, who Vanna White. Who Dies? An investigation of conscious living and conscious dying. So I'm sure they'll let us know how it's reading for them. All right, our speaker for today is Dr. Edward. Next week is Reverend Sandy, then Reverend Randy Granger. And is it Reverend Brian Kurtz? I don't know. It's just Brian Kurtz. Okay. And the last Sunday is Dr. Edward. So we're having a Edward sandwich, Edward, okay. The Alpha and Omega, right? I don't know. Something weird's happening to me today. Okay. The Thursday evening group has restarted. Attendance is either here in the social hall or on Zoom. Get the Zoom coordinates from either Cleona or Edward. And are you still doing a plethora of different topics?
Yeah, last week we talked about remote viewing.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about or listen to something about astral travel.
Okay, last week was remote viewing. This week is astral travel. Dum, dum, dum. Good. Okay, Singing Out Las Cruces. They have a concert coming up next weekend called Songs for Us. The cost is $12. It's at the door. Saturday night starts at 7 p.m. Sunday afternoon is at 3 p.m. And our own Barry Shaw is their accompanist. At CSL. It's at CSL. Okay. Thank you for that pithy question. All right. The Labyrinth is slowly coming along. Thank you for those who have contributed rocks. Please help by finding and bringing more rocks to line the pathway. Rocks should be about 6 inches in diameter. We collect them on the pergola until it's time to construct. We need lots of rocks. Rock on. Okay. Brian Kurtz will be here on June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd for healing sessions. The cost is $125, and each session lasts about 90 minutes. He is an intuitively guided medical empath whose commitment to service is the common thread in his life's work. And Jeannie Geringer would like to talk about her upcoming dowsing workshop.
Hi everyone. So last month we had a dowsing workshop on how to use dowsing to find the best place to live. And that's how I found Las Cruces 30 years ago. The second part of it was how to use dowsing to buy or sell a home. We managed to get through one segment of this last month on how to find the best place to live, a fun class. So this month we will continue with that. Well, for those folks who were doing the homework on how to get their dowsing protocol ready on choosing, we'll review what they did. But this month we'll go in more thoroughly on how to use dowsing to buy or sell a home, which will include how to find and how to handle any non-beneficial energies in the home. You don't know what happened there, do you? So how to undo that and how to set it up for yourselves and how to set up your home for the best way to sell it and put an energy paradigm around it to help that. So that is what we will be doing on June 15th. And it's 1:30 to 4:30, $25 a person. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Okay, back to Brian Kurtz. I forgot to I'm not used to being Vanna White. There is a sign-up sheet in the social hall, and 5 people have signed up for this. So if you wish to sign up, we'll put it back in the social hall. So, okay, all this housekeeping stuff. Okay. And lastly, but not leastly, our prayer team remains ready to serve and support you. You may submit a request via our webpage or give it to Edward. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoon, and consider sitting with them during that quiet time, because we know we are all connected in the great universe. And we are one spirit, and the energy of prayer leaves no bounds. Let us take a deep breath in and a cleansing breath and release. Let's do another deep, life-affirming breath. And release. As we autonomically breathe, let's autonomically breathe in spirit. Spirit is ever present in our lives with every breath, in every vibration, in every word that we say, every song that we sing, every thoughts that we think. We are so blessed that we know this as an affirmation. We thank you, Great Spirit, Mother, Father, God, for this blessing that you've bestowed upon all of your peoples. For this we give great thanks, and so it is. Okay, please stand if you're able, and we're going to sing "And Moldy Oldie, I Am the Thinker." That changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be denied. Changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be divine. Changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. Who thinks the thoughts that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have a power to change my life. You're in fine voice this morning, everybody. Thank you. Okay, let us read together our vision, our mission, and our affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. our vision, to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. Our affirmation. With summer's full heat upon us, we affirm the cool breeze of spirit is flowing in, through, and around us. We know that we are supported by Spirit in all that we do. And so it is. And so it is. Okay, it's my great pleasure to welcome back Io, but he has changed his name to Mao in memory of his mother. How nice, isn't that nice? And I think in some cultures you can change your name as many times as you want. You know, look at Kamatara, right? Okay, Io, welcome. He's going to do some a cappella, is it African songs?
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay. Okay, make sure your microphone's on.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. As you mentioned, I've added a name, and it's just a name that was sometimes I guess parents, immigrant parents, they would drop a name when the kids come over. I think that's anyway. So when my mother passed away, I added the name that she had given me in Nigeria. So sometimes I still go by Ayo, or some friends still call me, but I go by Mao, like how, now, etc. So yeah. I'm going to experiment a little bit this morning, and if you would allow me that. It's called A Hymn of Promise. Mr. Shaw likes the song, and so I'll share it with you. It's by Natalie Smith. In the bulb there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree. In cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the cold and snow of winter there's a spring that waits to be. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. In the bulb there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree. In cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the cold and snow of winter, there's a spring that waits to be. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. There's a song in every silence, seeking word and melody. There's a dawn in every darkness, bringing hope to you and me. From the past will come the future, what it holds a mystery. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. In our end is our beginning, in our time, infinity. In our doubt there is believing, in our life, eternity. In our death a resurrection, at the last a victory. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. Thank you.
Mao, we've sung this for a song of joy, so that's why you were hearing some humming back there. The words are really special, but I never heard it with a beat. That was really special. Thank you. Okay, our reading today comes from 365 Signs of Mind. And this is for the 12th of never. I don't know, it's one of the months. The title is Spirit Flows Through My Consciousness into Action. There's eternal springtime in the soul, always rising but never setting in the sun of my destiny. Always rising but never setting in the sun of my destiny. I refuse to worry about anything. I have complete confidence that the God who is always with me is able and willing to direct everything I do, to control my affairs, to lead me into the pathway of peace and happiness. I release every sense of condemnation, either against myself or others. I lose every feeling of animosity. I now understand that there is a principle and a presence in every person, gradually drawing that person into the kingdom of good. I know that the kingdom of God is at hand, and I am resolved to enter it, to possess it, and to let it possess me. I have a silent partner within me whose energy is inexhaustible and whose intelligence is without limit. It is life itself. I maintain close communion with my true center, knowing that the divine spirit operates through me. I know that I am not limited by anything that has happened or by anything that is now happening. I'm entering into an entirely new set of conditions and circumstances. That which has no limit is flowing through my consciousness into action. And so it is. And now it's my great pleasure to bring Dr. Edward forward. Let's give him a little encouragement.
Oh, whoa.
I'm fine.
You got it.
I got it.
Thank you for that reading,
You're welcome.
too. Good morning. It's nice to see all of you here. Okay. I'll tell you where I got the title of my talk in just a minute. But I think one source of unhappiness in our lives can be attributed to our desire for things to be different than they are and our disappointment that they aren't. Is that maybe right? Yeah. Of course, this concept is addressed in a number of ways. For example, my oft-quoted book of Brian Cady and the Work, Loving What Is the name of her book. And even the book that we just finished up in Early Birds by Brian Kurtz, where he uses his paradigm for the point A and the point B, where we're living in the point A, but we want it to be the point B. But anyway, so my title is Living Without the If. So the other evening we were watching one of our favorite TV shows. It's The Good Doctor. And so this idea was introduced by a discussion that a couple of the folks were having, and that revolved around a drug addict and the sense of unconditional love. And one of the actors was saying that they were thinking back to the fact that their mother had been a drug addict and had created some real problems in her life. And she made the remark that perhaps if the character had just loved her mother unconditionally, it could have made a difference. She said and I'll just use some thoughts, in the life of the drug addict, you, the drug addict, can only get sober or only get a job if you are sober. You can only live in my house if you are clean. You are only lovable if you are sober. And that was the genesis of, the character said. You know, the I can only love you if, fill in whatever condition you want to put there. And so they said it was the if that had killed the drug addict. And of course, there was a further discussion that said, no, it was the car that ran over him, or it was the other, whatever. It was the drugs that killed him. It wasn't really the character that had killed him. It wasn't really the if that had killed him. But yet I started thinking about this. And the if phrase is kind of like the but phrase. You know what we say? You're a wonderful person, but, right? It doesn't matter what comes next. It's turned off with the but word, right? That's just the way we are. And it's the same kind of thing with the if word, I was thinking. So let's stick to the if concept for a little bit here. And I have some things I want to talk about and discuss how the if statement may relate to ourselves and our happiness. So here's one. I would be happier if. Fill in the blank, but here's some examples. I would be happier if I had a better job, if I had more money, more savings, if I won the lottery, so on and so forth. What about, I would be happier if I lost 10 pounds, or exercised more, or got a nose job, or had better health, etc. I would be happier if I had someone to love me, if I had a better relationship. I would be happier if I had a relationship. I would be happier if my children talked to me more. I would be happier if I had a better apartment, a bigger house, a newer car. I would be happier if that something that occurred to me many years ago hadn't happened. I would be happier if my family or social peers or boss didn't expect so much of me. I would be happier if I was more spiritual. I would be happier if I had higher self-esteem. Or maybe another phrasing of this, but still having the same impact of the if. My life would be easier if. ... My job, my volunteer situation would be easier if person X wasn't there. My life would be easier if I had more control over my life. So there's 2 times during my talk today that I'm going to have some audience participation. So would anyone want to volunteer their favorite if statement? Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be one that you use, but maybe you heard someone else use it. So I'm open. Just call it out. You would be happier if you lived closer to family? Okay. There you go. I would be happier if I was 6'2". All right. Well, I'll give you a break.
Well, you said most of the stuff that we...
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you did...
Yeah, I tried to cover the gamut, yeah. But I didn't think of that one. Yeah, that was good. 6'2". Okay. And then the if statement can be used kind of as a psychological weapon against another. Here's how I'm going to say that. I would be happier if you weren't so stubborn. That's... I would be happier if you agreed with me. Right? That's another way we use that if. The point is that the if is a indicator or a tell, as they say, that lets us know what we might consider addressing or where there is still work to be done. The fact that we are unhappy or we're complaining about a situation is information in and of itself. And what follows the if is the key to the solution. So I'm not going to address every one of the examples I gave. And perhaps in the simplest statement of the solution is, love is the answer. Yeah, I know. Love first of ourselves and then of others. But that reminds me of something that Donna Stryker said at her talk a few weeks ago. Simple, not easy. You know, it is. It's simple. It can be stated very, very easily, but it's pretty hard to do. We need more practical steps to do this. Otherwise, we usually don't get there. And of course, there's thousands of self-help books that are available, and I suspect you probably have about half of them on your bookshelf or in boxes. And you may even have read some of them. But have we actually followed what the books or the author espouse for more than a couple of days? This is a fantastic book. Yeah, and then a week later, and it was like, here's another book. So Shirley addressed some of this in her talk last Sunday. No, when was it? 2 Sundays ago. Yeah, there we go. I apologize. I was on vacation. But as she said, she and we can probably quote numerous authors on what should be done in any particular situation. But is any of that our wisdom? Do we truly own that wisdom? Do we even know what our wisdom is? So how do we find our own wisdom? So, the reading you read today is perfect in many respects, and I'm going to touch on some of it. But in our Science of Mind magazine, in the front of it, there's a section called the We Believe section. It has a group of We Believe statements. And it says, we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuition and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. So how do we develop our intuition and spiritual nature? Well, some may call it meditation, or self-reflection, or sitting quietly with ourselves. Do we have the TV or the radio going on our every waking moment? Do we keep ourselves so busy with things that we don't have time to sit quietly? Do we make that quiet time for ourselves? Just asking. And again, from Ernest Holmes, we believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. This one of our beliefs reminds me that it's all within my grasp and it's up to me. You notice I didn't say, but it's up to me. And it's up to me. The door opens inward and it's unlocked. We have just only to open it. And no one else can open it for us. So, as happens, you pick up a book. I think Peggy Shin calls it the plop method. You plop it open, and you go, oh, oops. And there you find some wisdom that fits. So in last year's, I believe it was June Science of Mind magazine, it was all about the body. And I'm going to use this as an example. And the author said that he was given an exercise with respect to the body. And last June's Science of Mind had to do with interacting with our body, so to speak. And the exercise was to find one thing about our body, my body, that I like, and think about it with loving kindness until the like blossomed into love. Now, pretty simple. It's probably not that hard to do the exercise either. So I tried this for myself. You know, what do I like about my body? As I started to do this assessment, I would think of one thing, and then my monkey mind would throw in a yes, but type of thing. So for me, because it's my process, I would forgive myself and keep on. And finally, I found that I transitioned to gratitude. I just became a feeling of gratitude. So, I know I had another exercise in here. Yeah, now's a good time for this. So let's do this exercise for ourselves. And we'll do it with our body. We could do it with any number of things, but let's just relax for a moment. Because we know as we do this that we are invoking spirit, and you are now being absorbed by spirit. So let's pick one thing about our body that we like, unquestionably like. And as we hold space for this exercise and for one another, if anything distracts us from that, just forgive ourselves. Come back to focusing on that part of our body that we really like. We really like. And then perhaps it's experienced as a warm feeling. Just allow that to blossom, bloom, encompass our entire body. We really like our body. We're so grateful for our body. We feel the pressure of the energy of love. And it is expanding beyond our body. Is filling us. Yes. Yes, my beloveds. We are full of that divine energy. So now as you come back to the room, let's see how we can apply this same concept to our if list. I'm just going to use a couple of examples here. I talked about the example of your current apartment. I want a better apartment. Pick out something really nice about your existing apartment that you love. And just focus on that one thing. Just don't worry about any of the other things that are other than that. Until the loving kindness blossoms into love. What about this difficult coworker or boss? Focus on something good about them. I remember Geneva once told the story about a difficult principal in one of the schools that they taught in, or she taught in, and there were a number of teachers there who all were having this difficulty with this principal. So they banded together, the teachers did, to extend love to that person. That's all they did, extended love to that person. And eventually he softened up, and maybe I'm ad-libbing this a little bit, but you know how Geneva is. Eventually he said, I don't know what it is about you, but I just really like you. If you knew Geneva, you'd know how true that could be. So the Course in Miracles would call this extending love to that person. So another one of our examples had to do with more money, for example. So create a feeling of gratitude and love for what you currently have. How about relationships? Find something you really like about the one that you have. Focus on that. So it turns out this is very similar to a gratitude exercise, right? And as I was putting this together, I was reminded of a parable from the Bible. That God gave, the parable of the talents was the rich man, I think it was leaving for a while, and he gave each of his 3 servants 10 talents. Talents was a measure of money, but you can relate it to our use of the word talents now. And he told the servants to take good care of these talents. Use them well. So he came back a while later, a year later, and the first servant had taken those 10 talents and made 10 times the original 10. And the second servant had made 5 times the original 10. And this third servant was so worried that he was going to lose it that he buried his, and all he had was 10 talents when the master came back. And the master rewarded the first 2 very positively. And the third, he told him that he could not reward him. For he had not used the talents that he had been given. God gives us talents. And how we use them affects if we get more, so to speak. Do we use our time well? Kind of fits into that, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And you can put in anything you want there. The lesson is to be good stewards of what we have, and we will be given more. Not just money, our time, our gifts to the world, our love, our light, energy, our compassion. The list goes on. We have so many qualities that have been gifted to us. And lastly, resonating on the reading again, we are children of the one loving God. And I'm going to say, what kind of parent would want harm to their child? No matter what the situation we find ourselves in, God or Spirit loves us and is not trying to punish us. God wants the highest and best for each and every one of us. We are loved unconditionally. There is no if in God's love. We are fully supported 100% of the time. And the more we allow ourselves to feel the love of the support, the happier and more peaceful and more loving to ourselves and others we become. And so it is. So I feel we've created a very holy space here this morning. So let's just take it a little further and a little deeper. We know we're missing a few of our normal community members today. And we know there are a few of those who are experiencing something other than perfect health. So let's just take a moment. We've built up this energy bubble, this golden glow around each and every one of us. And this glow has merged with everyone here and on Zoom. We know you're there. This light and love, spirit goes out to you on Zoom. And those who will listen to this later on, I ask that you just tune in to that same energy, because it knows no bounds. It knows no limits in time or space. And so we see these golden tendrils of love and peace going out to our other community members who are not here today, enveloping them with the same energy that we have allowed to build in our presence. We just see them perfect, whole, and complete, knowing that God is working through each and every one of them, is lifting them and supporting them through all the challenges they may be having or that we may be having. We give thanks for that. We give thanks for just knowing this philosophy. And it's deeper than knowing. It's a feeling that can't be described. We just sit in this knowing that it goes out to everyone in our community, in our city, in our state, and in our country, our beloved country. It's built on the concept of the divine. And through the entire planet, may there be peace everywhere on this planet. No matter what it looks like now, it is just a precursor to peace. We know that as we do this, we raise the consciousness of the entire cosmos. And that is our purpose. That is our reason for being. And so it is. And now we have a beautiful song coming up. No question about that.
Hello once again. So this song I learned from some Unitarian friends in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's called "If Every Woman." That's the title of the song. Sure. That's by It's by Karen McKay. Every woman in the world had a mind set on freedom. If every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every man in the world had his mind set on freedom, if every man in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every man of every nation, young and old, each generation, held his hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every leader in the world shared a vision of freedom, if every leader in the world shared a sweet dream of peace, if every leader of every nation worked for justice and liberation, holding hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every nation in the world set a true cause for freedom, if every nation in the world raised its children in the culture of peace, if all our sons and all our daughters reached for friendship across the waters, refusing to be enemies, there would be no more war. There would be no more war. There would be no more war. Thank you so much.
What a beautiful song. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. Let's give him another hand. So now it's time for our offering, and I think Jim is bringing the basket forward. Thank you, Jim, for bringing this forward. This basket is filled to overflowing with gifts, gifts of money that keep our community going, that we extend our love to others in the form of tithing. And also, I see this basket full of love, joy, and peace. And it multiplies because it has been given. And so it is. It is. All right. So there are a number of folks who have contributed to the production of today's service. Obviously, we have our musicians. We have our tech crew in the back, Edwin and Brenda and Judy, our platform assistant. We appreciate them and we are grateful for their service. And thank you on Zoomland for joining us today and for watching this later on. It really doesn't matter what's being said here because what's happening is you opening your heart and allowing you, the real you, to come through. And I guess I would just say want to commend you for taking that time for yourself. And now, stay around in the Zoom meeting if you wish and chat with folks. Otherwise, we're going across to the social hall and we're going to have, what are we having today? Coffee and conversation. See? That is nothing fancy. Let's see. Oh, we have coffee to help us do stupid things faster with more energy. Hey, that's cool. Thank you, Judy. I always appreciate your humor. So please stand if you're able and read with me the benediction, followed by our community song. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.
Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our center, united all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Oh, there is peace on earth, and it